this computer. Ooh, it says we're recording. I hope it's recording, and I hope I get audio with it too. Otherwise, it's going to be a very quiet back into the silent movies. Wow, that dates me. I'm old. So anyway, hi, welcome. This is the my summer 2021 engineering 1030 and engineering 1040 course online. This course is basically self-paced. You can go ahead if you want. You don't need to wait for me. The only thing you'll need to wait for me on are the exams. The exams will be during the time posted in the calendar. Reason being is that the same exam is given to every student this semester, both me and the in-person. I think somebody's teaching in person. I don't know. Wow, what a concept. Stay on track. Um, we use the same exams. Uh, so 1030 and 1040 are identical. They're the same course through the first two exams. After the second exam, 1030 will continue on in MATLAB, learning some advanced plotting, some linear regression analysis on data points, and some other. I think you get into the symbolic portions of MATLAB. I can't remember if that's before or after. The one thing you guys will learn very quickly about me is I only have two functioning brain cells, and one of them is busy keeping life support going, so that other one is really busy, and I tend to forget a lot. Um, but anyway, 1030 will continue on with MATLAB through the end of the semester. The final will be mostly on the material after the second exam, but the first two exams are the building blocks that get you to the point where you can do the material after the second exam. So, are we going to focus mostly on user-defined functions? No. Is there going to be user-defined function? There very well could be, because that is something that could be plotted. Um, so we'll get more to that as we get closer to the final. As for 1040, after the second exam in MATLAB, you will no longer see MATLAB in this course. You will go on in Excel. And you, as a student, you should have access to Microsoft 360, which will give you the latest version of Excel. Free as a student of the as a university. We're not a university here. We are the Salt Lake Community College. The final in 1040 will be only on Excel. And the last two finals I had to write myself. And I tell you, I'd 1,000 times rather take a test than write one. But the finals were so easy. Well, I thought they were so easy, but they struggled. Of course, some of them didn't even try some of the problems. I can't take responsibility. Anyway, we won't go into that. So anyway, that's the finals. Yeah, you guys are special. Okay, last semester towards the end, I received an email from one of the staff members at the ITC, which is the I don't know what the I stands for. I'd have to look it up again. It goes back to that tube functioning brain cell thing, but it's the testing center for the Salt Lake Community College, and they have new staff operating the testing centers, and they've asked me to be one of their guinea pigs and use my course as a teaching opportunity for the new staff. So you guys will be able to use the testing center at the Salt Lake Community College. I will need to find out if they're all going to be open or just the one on Redwood. In the past, there's been one at Redwood, South City. I think out in West Jordan, they had one set up there too. I'll get more information here shortly. I will schedule the, actually, I'll probably, will I learn? I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll give you more information as time comes. If by chance you are a long distance away from any of the on-campus testing centers, like one semester I had somebody over in Okinawa taking my courses online, and obviously I couldn't have them come from Okinawa to Salt Lake City to take an exam, so we just set up a proctoring situation for them there. If you have a similar system, obviously probably not that far, but get with me before the exam starts, not on the last day of the exam saying, hey, look, I can't make it there. Okay, I'm more than willing to work with you if we have it in advance, than to wait until the very last minute, and it has happened. Okay. Canvas. I guess y'all had a chance to get around inside of Canvas. So if we start here on the home page, the last 3 announcements I make will always be at the top of the page. Keep an eye on them. If by chance you missed 3, just go into the announcements, and you'll see all the announcements for the course. Okay, I have a lot in here that you haven't seen yet because they're delayed to be posted later. Because I tend to forget things. If you do not have your textbook yet, and you're waiting for it to come to you in one way or another, if you go to the resources for this course, right here are the very first 3 chapters of the 5th edition. This will get you through assignment number 2. Hopefully by then you have your textbook and you're able to pick up where this leaves off. This is one benefit of having the author of the textbook working at Salt Lake Community College, is we get those, and we also have this one here. If by chance you do not have the 5th edition of the textbook, you're working out of the 4th, you will still be required to do the problems from the 5th edition of MATLAB for Engineers. All those problems are listed right here. They are in PDF form, so that you can work the problems. You will also be required to, if you looked at the assignments, work the practice exercises in each chapter. These are the problems that are in the reading body of the textbook, to help you learn the concepts as you're going. They are required. They count. Each one counts 10 points towards your final grade. They are not graded for accuracy. They're only graded for completion. But if you are working the 4th edition textbook, these are all from the 5th edition, and there are some problems in here that are not in the 4th edition. So I highly recommend you get with a classmate that has the 5th edition, so that you get all of the problems for the practice exercises. Now, why is it only worth 10 points? That's a lot of work. Okay, the reason they're only worth 10 points is, again, if we come back to the home page and we click on this homework assignments, right here at the very top is the solutions to the 5th edition practice exercises. I would use this only as a last resort. Try to work the problems out yourself. That will help you learn the material better, rather than just going in and copying the solutions out and submitting those. And yes, I have seen that in the past. Somebody turned in one of the solutions to the homework with Holly's name still at the top of the homework. And I'm, Holly, did you know you were taking class against you? Oh, okay. Anyway, so the solutions are here, and they're also down here at the bottom. This here will also give you your weekly assignments. And once you've finished the assignment and I have graded it, you will get solutions to that assignment.
Hey, Arthur?
Yes. Questions?
Hey, are you sharing your screen? Because I cannot see it.
Oh, okay. I've been doing all this, and you guys, man, I hate these stupid things that don't know what I'm trying to do.
Yes, I think everyone's just being polite, but yeah.
Yeah, no. Okay, here's the chat button. There we go. See, look at that. I am so sorry. I just get in a roll here and I forget. Now, where's the share the button at? Oh, share screen right there. There we go. And we're going to share screen number 1. I did that like I'm an amateur, but I mean, I've dealt with Zoom before. I use Office Teams quite often at the community or at my office. I've done web CT for the last several semesters at community college. I know that for you to see what I'm pointing at, I have to share. So I'm sorry, minus 10 points for me. Okay, so well, I'll go back over that. So we go to the home page here. Right up here is the announcements I was talking about. Top, the last three will be up right here. And if you cruise down here, the resources for this course is where you can find the first three chapters of the textbook in PDF form, and also the homework from the 5th edition homework. Again, this will bring you into a link, give you the homework in PDF form for each individual chapter. Okay, and then the assignments we were looking at here at the practice exercises. These are assigned, and you can see there's a lot of them, but they're really not that difficult to do if you're doing them as you're reading along with the textbook. And then the solutions for the practice exercises is if you go back to the home page and scroll down here to the homework assignments, and there's a link right there for the practice exercise solutions as here. I think that's basically what I covered without sharing, because I'm an idiot with a little girl named Bridget. She's not a midget. Any questions? Anything that I missed there?
I have a question.
Okay, I got one answer. Use it wisely.
Okay. So essentially, this is my first time doing a course like this, but we're just turning in the file from the MATLAB, right?
Yeah, I'll get to that in just a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to get through Canvas here, and then I'll go into MATLAB and show you how I would like your files to be set up, what you need to turn in, and then a few little tips and secrets about MATLAB to get you started. But I just wanted to get through all the. I think I've covered everything pretty much in Canvas. I mean, if you have questions, by all means, shoot me an email in Canvas through the inbox here. Yes.
You mentioned that homework is completion, correct?
The homework is
a completion grade?
Yeah, just on the practice exercises.
Oh, practice exercises. Okay.
Yeah, because you already have the solutions to those. So they're only worth 10 points. I go in, I make sure you've got them all done. If they're all done, I give you full credit. On the homework itself, I've been doing these homework problems for longer than probably most of you have been alive. So I know which problems the students struggle with. Those are the ones I go to when I'm doing the grading. I'll look at the rest of them just to make sure that things are being done, but I go to the ones that have been causing the students most heartache over the year, and I'll make comments and point out where you may have, walked off the trail a little bit. So, by all means, once you get a graded assignment back from me and I have access to the solutions, if there's something that I missed, check it against the solutions, send me an email. I mean, okay, I feel like I'm a thief when I get paid from the community college because I don't do a lot. Okay, this is really mostly a self-guided class for the students. Does that mean I'm not available? No, I am constantly available. I have been up at midnight with students that contact me, say, hey, look, I'm having problems. Can you help me? I'm more than happy to help you 24/7. You just got to send me a note in through Canvas. Okay, don't go through my Salt Lake Community College email, because on my iPad I don't have access to my email on the community college. I do, however, have an app on my iPad that connects me to Canvas, and anytime you send me a message in Canvas, it pops up a notice, and I will come on and I will help you. I've tried to pride myself to be within hours of replying to any message that comes on. I get frustrated with myself when it goes beyond that. So, I mean, I am here to help you guys learn and understand this material. And I can't do that if I don't know you're struggling. So, reach out to me anytime, day or night. Um, if my job is such that, okay, don't tell anybody this, but I work for a bunch of idiots in a full-time job. And so I have the time at my office where I can answer emails. I may not be able to come online with you during the work hours, but we can set up a time if needed that once I get home from work, we can go online and I can help you figure out your problem.
Thank you.
No problems. Okay, I don't like this chat. Of course, this semester is no big deal because I've only got the one class. The problem with the chat and doing a Zoom for just this class is that if I have 3 classes, I don't want to have 3 instances of this open. So I make one global Zoom meeting so that, I mean, last semester I had SolidWorks students watching the MATLAB online session and vice versa. So, I try, like I said, I try to make myself open and available to you as soon as, as possible. So if you're going to use the Zoom, send me a message first so that I know that you're coming in. I don't get a notice if you just go into Zoom without sending me a notice first. So I noticed somebody did that earlier this week because it does send a message to my email saying that somebody's in my room waiting, and I didn't see it until the next day. So, send that message to me in pitter patter little feet. Oh, there's the Bridget, who's not a midget. So, okay. Any questions on Canvas? Oh, here's an important link too, down at the bottom. Videos from online sessions, and I may not have. Okay, this right now. Ooh, this was. If my recording from tonight doesn't work out, you can come watch this. This is basically the same material, covering the same material for last semester. This one here is probably my most popular YouTube video I have ever created. It's got thousands and thousands of views on it, and I've not taught thousands of students. Okay, we got the stupid cat and the dog down here. The cat's not running away. Oh, here's the dog. Say hi, doggy. So I'll tell you guys how stupid my cat is, okay? We got her from some friends, and the friends were shredding papers one day, and the cat jumped up on the table. That's why she's only got a 2-inch tail. Okay. Any questions on Canvas? Okay, let's get into some hardcore MATLAB. So I don't want to sign into Cortana. Okay, so this is MATLAB. I have mine set up for how I like the layout. It is very adjustable. You just grab a window and you can move them around, remove them, but I don't like to do it because sometimes it's hard to get them back in. But you can replace them wherever you want, any format. But I like this format here. This gives me my current folder here, my workspace here, and then when I open up a file, it comes in the middle here so that I can see what I'm grading and the output from it over here. You set yours up whatever works best for you. This is what works good for me. And then I've created all these shortcut keys up here. If you want to get into learning how to do that, contact me later. That's not part of the class, but I use it for things that I got tired of typing over and over. This one here sets up so that what am I grading? I don't. Okay. Like here, this for when we get into user-defined function. No, this. Yeah, user-defined functions. You have to create a function that creates a plot of a polygon. Depending on how much the number you put in will be the number size. So if you put in 7, it'll create a plot of a 7-sided polygon. And I just got tired of typing in polygon every time I graded it. So this is the code that does that. I mean, it's plain simple. I clear the variables, I clear the command window, I display that the plot was created, and then I call the function. This one is just simple. It clears the function figure, because that chapter on plots is man, it's a pain to grade. This is how I calculate your score if you turn in your homework late, if you don't turn in a full account. And then this one this one I use most. This clears everything and resets the format back to the format that I like. Again, you don't have to do any of this up. Go away, go away, go away. You don't have to do any of this here. But you know, whatever makes MATLAB comfortable for you is what's best. Okay. So this is MATLAB, and now you want to know, how do I get started doing my homework? Okay, there are several ways to do your homework in MATLAB. In the textbook, chapter 2, it has you just start by putting information right into the command window. That is fine if you're just doing a one-time calculation, but if you want to repeat that, you know, you either have to type it in again, which is kind of silly because you could just hit the arrow up. Arrow up will go through all of your recent commands that you've done, and you get the one you want, and you can hit enter. But for this class, okay, for the first assignment, I will accept homework that has been done in the command window and saved. But after the first assignment, work saved from the command window is very difficult to grade. Well, it's impossible to grade, because not only do you have the code that you wrote to get your response, but it also has the response, and MATLAB won't run this code. If I try to run that, it says error. That's because they're on two separate lines, and it just doesn't work that way. So the way you will do your homework after, well, even on the first assignment would be great. There's a couple ways to do this. First off, you can start with a new script. Okay, this will bring down what is called an M file. Why is it called an M file? Because the extension on it is .m. That's what an M file is. So inside your M file, you can write your code, r equals 9, and then we do area equals pi r, who stole my times button? Pi times r, not r raised to the deuce. Okay, well, it's not doing anything. I know it's not doing anything. That's because we're only getting started here. So now that we got your code in here, what you to execute this code, there's several ways to do it. First off, you can come up here and run section. Okay, that's going to run everything in that cell. I'll cover cells in just a second. So 9 times pi is 254.469. Another way you can run this is you can hit the run button. If you run the button, and it's probably a good idea every once in a while you're doing your homework to hit the run button, because it forces you to save before it'll execute the code. So I'm just going to put down demo in today's date. So by hitting run, it's going to save it every time and then run the code. Another way you can do it is to highlight all the text you want and hit execute or evaluate selection. Okay, it's going to evaluate whatever is highlighted. Or if you'll notice, you could also hit F9. I'm not going to do that. I don't know what it does on this software, but I know on the Camtasia, when I use recording with that, if I hit F9, it paused the recording. But just remember that that is a valid command. Now this shortcut key you won't see because I created that one. Anyway, so what's a cell? A cell is created by 2% signs followed by a space. Do not forget the space, and then a comment. Problem, I do prefer that you label each problem with the problem number. Yes, I know what most of the problems look like, but having to sit there and look at it line for line to determine which problem number I'm on is very time consuming. And the best thing I found for getting good grades is keeping the grader happy. Um, so it puts problem numbers in there, and then everybody's happy. So I don't know if you can see the color differentiation here. This is yellow, this is white. This means that this is in that cell. I come up here, that is that cell. So what's the benefit of having a cell? Well, we'll say that t equals 1 to 5. So when we come up here and execute just this cell, oh, we're going to do something here too. This is something I highly recommend you do on every one of your problems. Clear. Type clear at the beginning of your problem. Why do you want to do that? Why do I do it? Because if you're working on a homework assignment that has, say, 15 problems, and on problem 1, you define R to be 9, and you get down to problem number 14, and you want R to be 72, but you forgot to include that in the problem on 72, it's going to go back and find that, oh, hey, look, back up here, we set R to 9, and you'll sit there for hours. Why isn't this code giving me the right answer? And it's because it's using values that were defined in a different problem. But if you clear each problem before you start it, then you're going to be starting with a clear workspace. So you'll notice here that we have area and R. If I hit clear, evaluate that, they're gone. Then if you forget to define your variable on problem 14, it'll kick up an error saying unknown variable. And then it's, oh, cool, that just saved me hours of debugging. So anyway, so we come up here, oh, and that's more, yeah, and we hit run section. We're going to add a CLC, which clears the command window. So we can see that it didn't do T, it just did 9 and area because it's only executing the code that's in that cell.
I have a question. If you do the clear, should you save it before you do the clear?
This just clears the workspace.
Okay.
Just the variables that have been created. You still have your document.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, no, good question. Good question. Back to that 2 brain cell thing again. I forgot where it's at. So anyway, so yeah, you can clear at the beginning, do the CLC, the clear the command window at the beginning of your problems, but please don't put it at the end of your problem. I don't know why students do that, because when I execute that code, I see nothing. They run the code, they executed it, and then they cleared it off before I could see the output. No, so if you want to do the clear, then or clear the command window, do it before the problem, not at the end of the problem. And then when we get into plotting too, if you use CLF at the beginning of each problem, you'll find that that's going to be very beneficial too. Because if you do, when you get into doing subplots, go away. When you get to doing subplots, if you got your last control was in this subplot over here, and you go to another program problem and do a plot, it's going to plot down here and still leave the other 3 or however many you program. You'll learn more about that when we get to chapter 5 on plotting. So now you see these little red orange text over here. You put your mouse on top of that and it says terminate statement with semicolon to suppress output within a script. Okay, some of the students see that and they say, oh, I got to put a semicolon on the end of each of these. No. Again, we're getting back into the frustrating the grader. When you put a semicolon on there, it suppresses the output to the command window. I have no idea whether your code is right or not. Then I have to come in and remove the semicolon to see the output. If you want to suppress all your variable definitions, defining of the variables, that's fine. And your calculations, I just need to see the final output. Okay. Over the years, I know that if this is problem 3.1, that the output's supposed to be 254. I don't need to see all the stuff that built up to that, but I do need to see the final answer. So if you see these, you can do it if you want, but generally ignore it for the final answer. Okay, that was the last line on my thing here. Cells. Okay, so there's another way I've been trying to keep from not doing it. There's another way to execute these cells, and if you hit Control Enter, oops, let's do this and clear this so you can see that it actually Control Enter will also execute a cell and keep the control in that cell. Okay, but if you hit Control Shift Enter, it executes and then moves down to the next cell. Okay, it can't go any further because that's the last cell. So if no matter whether, oops, and that's how I do the grading. Okay, if your homework doesn't come in cells, I will make it in cells before I start grading, because it's a lot easier for me to just sit here and hit that, see the output, hit that, see the output, and I know what's going on, and you know, and then, oh, hey, that's wrong. Okay, I go back and look at the code. Oh, this is what happened. Okay, here's a note. You did this. Maybe if you tried this. Okay, yeah, cool.
Can I ask something?
Sure.
Okay, so just to reiterate about the semicolons, because I was confused about that too. But
Okay.
You essentially, like for example, on yours, if you just wanted the area to be your answer, you would put the semicolon after r equals 9 and then not after
Right.
the, okay.
Yeah, see, semicolons are not required to execute the code. They just suppress the output. But you know, when you get into some of your other programming stuff like C++ and you know things like that, they require some kind of termination at the end of the line. In MATLAB, that just suppresses the output. So if we just want to see the area output, and then when we get into formal outputs, you know, we'll suppress that, and then we'll you won't learn this until about chapter 7, I think. Oops, area. Then this just will display what's ever in the display here. But okay, you didn't see that because we haven't learned that yet. So.
And you prefer that, right? You prefer
I
us
prefer,
not to have the variables.
If you want to supply these, I'm fine with that too. It just, you know, when you get into your more advanced programming and that, you're not going to want to see this kind of stuff in your outputs. So, you know, it's just, I won't mark it wrong if they're not. And I will complain if you do mark all of them with a semicolon, but if, you know, the first few assignments, I won't do anything about it. But after about assignment 5 or 6, if they're still getting semicolons at the end of the line, then I'll start, you know, taking 95, 96 points off. Okay, maybe not that many. That answer your questions?
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. Okay, so now one very important thing that is actually at the top of my list here, if you're looking on here, here's my notes, Casey, creating an M file. Next thing in line is current folder. Very, 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 very important, especially when we get into, I think it's chapter 6. Maybe it's chapter 7. Which chapter is it? Not okay. Oh yeah, chapter 6. User-defined functions. Well, you need to have your current folder set up so that all of your functions are going into the current folder, because that's where MATLAB is going to go looking for these functions. But you got it's best if you're working out of the current folder anyway. So how do you set the current folder? I will tell you. That's a very good question. I'm glad you asked. Okay, it's now this is all Windows based. Okay, I'm assuming that it's somewhat similar in Mac. My Mac experience is very, very limited. But if you just come over here to this little icon with the folder and the green browse for folder, and then just go to wherever your folder you're saving your homework in. I just happen to have on here MATLAB online, and then hit select folder. Now you'll notice that this is now my current directory. See, this this is all the stuff that I've done over the last 100 years in helping students in this class. So now anything that I save, if I, okay, I only showed you one way to create M files. Once you got the editor open, you can hit this plus mark to get more. And I think it's Control N. Yeah, Control N will open up even more of them. There was this new, we'll cover that in just a minute. So that's how you can get M files again. And then if you do a save as, and I think this is going to go back to where I was. So I'm going to put this over in my, it defaulted back to the folder where I first saved it at. So now it's in here and I'm getting, oh, pitter patter of page feet. Say hi to the students page.
Hi, students.
Hi.
Also, don't listen to him. That 9 should be a 7, not a 9. There we go. Now you can listen to him.
Yeah, 7 is her favorite number. Okay, so anyway, okay, so that's creating. Now, you'll notice that as you're working along, you'll find, I'm not gonna have it in here. MATLAB will create a file that I believe is a .asv file.
Heard it.
Dog.
Dog.
I got stupid.
I know. I just want to get your hug and say goodbye. So hello, goodbye. I love you. See you later.
Sorry, guys. It's .asv. What it is it's an automatic backup file that SolidWorks from classroom. See, kids drove me nuts. That MATLAB creates. It'll save it every so often. If by chance your homework file becomes corrupted, and if we leave this open long enough, it'll create one here. If your file becomes corrupted, you just change the extension from, oh, there it is, ASV. If by chance this becomes corrupted, you just change that ASV to a .m and you'll get back everything that was there the last time, not SolidWorks, MATLAB. Last time MATLAB did a backup. And it can save you some work. So if you do check your file, see if it's in there and so recover it. So there is something else you guys are going to have to learn because the exams will be given to you in a live editor form. Live editor, oh, be quiet, is similar to an M file. However, the output does not go to the command window. It stays inside the editor. See, it brought it over here. Now you can have it come off to the side. I don't like it that way. I like mine coming underneath. But you can have it however you like. You can have it so that the code is missing upside down or to the side. The reason this is important is because this is how the exams will be coming to you. Will be coming in a live editor format. Why? Because it's so much easier to grade. As I go through the exam and do the grading and upload the file back to you, you will see exactly what I saw while I was grading it, plus whatever comments I happen to put in it. Of course, that's not going to be a problem because all my students are going to get 100% on the exams. So play with the live editor. If you want to do your homework in the live editor, that's great. I got no problem with that. Yeah. So, and then when we get into chapter 6, there's something really cool that I don't think is in the textbook yet because the textbook's out of date. So I will make sure and bring that up just before the chapter 6 practice exercises. something in both of those. Okay, the element operator. What's an element operator? I will tell you that you guys have just got some really great questions today. Okay, so an element operator is if we wanted to find out what the value of all of the values in T were squared. Okay, if we wanted to square T. So T is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So if we squared that, we should have 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. However, if you try to do that, it's going to throw up an error saying, hey, you cannot square T because T is not of the proper size. Mat in MATLAB stands for matrices. MATLAB works off of the matrix mathematics. So if you're trying to square two more what? Oh, somebody's chatting. I'm sorry. Where'd my chat window go? I'm still trying to figure out the Zoom thingy here, guys. So bear with me. Oh, that's not it. So, where's chat? Control H. Sorry, guys. I'm new to this Zoom. I'm used to the. Oh, there's the chat. There it is. Okay. Now I'll make sure the chat's open. Okay. Okay, cool. Now where was I? Oh, we're squaring. So to square, the matrices have to be the right size. But that's not what we wanted anyway. We wanted to square the elements. So the element operator, or at least that's what I call it, is a period. You just put it before any mathematical operation that is impossible to do with matrices if you're trying to do just element by element. That would be raising to powers, multiplying and dividing. Okay, so now that we've got that element operator in there, it will, and if we come up here and clear, there's no K. You learn a lot about spelling if you watch me because I'm not a typist. We now see that went and it multiplied, or it squared each element in T instead of trying to square the matrices. Okay, and if you're ever trying to divide by a matrix, okay, that is impossible to do. It is like trying to divide by 0. It is just, you cannot divide by a matrix. It's just impossible. Then anytime you're dividing by a matrix, you must use the element operator and it will do it element by element. Any questions so far? Oh, did you miss something there, Athena? Do I need to go over something?
I'm not sure how much I missed. I've been here for, I think, the past 2 minutes now, though. I managed to figure it out pretty quickly, so I think we're okay.
Okay.
Worst comes to worst, I can just watch the recording.
Yeah, if the recording works, we can hope it can work. And I'll make sure and bring home, like I say, I don't need 3 sets of headphones at my office, so I'll bring one home so that if the recording didn't work, we'll get a more gooder recording next week. So what to turn in? For all assignments except for chapter 6 on user-defined functions, you need to turn in either the .m file that you created off of the script editor, or if you use the live editor, that would be the MLX. I think it's MLX. Yeah, that's what I need to grade. When we get into the chapters on uploading data files into MATLAB, as long as you use the files and the file names that are given to you on Canvas, I don't need you to supply those. If you change the name at all, then I will need your files. Make sure you're working out of the current folder. If you have a different folder somewhere on your computer that you're using, that's fine and dandy. Just please don't turn in your homework with a link to a folder on your computer, because it doesn't exist on mine. It just gives me errors. Valid file names. I think this is probably the last thing we need to cover here. Valid file names. The file name here is just as important as a variable name in MATLAB, because MATLAB, if you just type in, let's come over here. What's a good one to here? Let's do demo 2. If you just type in the name of that file, MATLAB will open it, execute it, and there's the results from that file. Okay, it was able to do that because this is a valid file name. This one right here, demo 2. But this one here, to demo2 underscore v, if we try to run that one, it's not going to run, because anybody got a question, a guess why? It cannot start with a number. Okay, we can't, all file names must start with a letter and contain letters and numbers and the underscore only. No special characters, no octothorpes, no backslashes. For these don't know, an octothorpe is a hashtag or a pound sign. None of the special characters. Letters, numbers, underscore, and if you must, a period. No spaces. If you try to save a file with an invalid name, MATLAB will scream at you. So if I try to come up here and save this as, even just with a space in there, it's going to say, hey, it will not be able to run that file because of that space. Or even if we tried to put an octothorpe in there, it won't do it. It will if you go from there, because that's your one chance to fix it. But anyway, he deleted it. Okay. So I like I said, well, for those of you here that were just a few minutes late, I have scheduled this in Canvas through Zoom as a reoccurring meeting every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. If there is a time that works better for everybody, I'm very flexible. I can move it to any day you guys want to where we can get the most participation. There's nothing magical about Thursdays at 8. Just that's what seemed to work best in the past. And if by chance I'm not going to be available on that Thursday, I will put out a notice beforehand. Summer is coming up. I do have a place up at Bear Lake, and the family wants to go do some boating this summer. So questions, comments, wants, needs, desires, concerns, complaints? Hopefully no complaints. It's too early in the semester for complaints.
Actually, Arthur, I had a question. So, like, when you were running that, I guess, like, multiplying that matrices, and it gives you that error that you have to use, I guess, what they call the scalar operator. Is that what it is? The little
Okay.
dot?
This is I really ought to look into Holly's book to see what she's called it, but I've been calling it an element operator because that forces MATLAB to go into the and it works on vectors or matrices. It goes in and does it element by element. Now, if you're doing a scalar multiplication, say, let's just say we want to go 7 times, I keep stealing my times button, 7 times t, you can do scalar without the element operator, because that just automatically goes in and multiplies, and you know, and you can even divide by. It's just when you're trying to divide by a matrice or raise a matrice to a power, or even now that we've got this, if we try to go t times t, it's not going to work because they're not the right size for matrix multiplication. But
Yeah,
if we put the
but-
element operator in there, then it works.
My question was, that error, when we're taking an exam and we're typing in the live editor, will it also give us that error, basically letting us know that, hey, you know, this is incorrect?
Yeah, yeah. If you come in here and try to do this, it'll still pop up an error. The only difference between the live editor and the M file is the output. The output stays within the document in the live editor, where this brings it over into the command window.
Okay, thank you.
There is one instance here where, and you'll get this in chapter 7, I think. Is it chapter 7? When we get into inputs, user inputs, user controlled inputs. Yeah, it's chapter 7. When you start looking for input from a user, this is in the when you try to execute this code now, it'll bring it over here in the command window to get the input. But the results will go back into the live editor. So, okay, have you all downloaded a copy of MATLAB off of the MathWorks website?
Yes.
Were there any issues?
I haven't had any issues so far. So
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, you guys are lucky because it's only been like the last 2 or 3 semesters that they've done that for us. Actually, since the pandemic. During the pandemic, they let us do it for a certain amount of time, and then community college worked out an agreement with them to where it's now a permanent, I think, permanent thing that students will have access to, a student version. And same with SolidWorks too. And I think if anybody's interested, I think you could probably get yourself a copy of SolidWorks for a year, even though you're not taking my SolidWorks class. But you didn't hear that from me. Oh, dang, I shouldn't have recorded it. Yeah. So that's me in a nutshell. I'm kind of weird. Y'all did watch, I don't know. My video from the Meet Me is on right here, Meet Your Teacher. If you want to watch my video. All this background here is Comic-Con. I got a little more than 3 walls covered with stuff that pictures and autographs that we've gotten from Comic-Con. Oh, sorry, it is now FanX. And it's actually coming in September. I think the biggest guest that I've heard so far is Adam Savage from Mythbusters is coming. I've been a volunteer for Comic-Con for the last 8 events. I've been running their show office info booth. I tell people where to go. I get quite good at it too.
Is that how you get free passes?
If you're a volunteer for Comic-Con, yeah, you'll get a free pass for the entire event. Plus, there have been in the past, they've given us free tracks tickets to get to the Delta Center. Or not Delta Center, the Salt Palace. And you get free cold pizza.
I go every year for health inspections because that's my job.
Ah, cool. I've, like I say, I've been there for eight events as a volunteer. I went to, we missed the very first one. We went to the second one, and I was bored silly after 20 minutes. I mean, this is just not for me. And then I became a volunteer, and I'd much rather be a volunteer than a guest. Where was I going with that? I don't know. Wow. Oh, so in the nine events that I've been there, I've only sat through one entire panel, and that was with Meatloaf. I tell you, that was a great panel. Meatloaf is so underrated.
I always really enjoyed the voice actors panel that they had, Twisted Tunes.
Twisted Tunes. I
That one's
sat
so
through
fun.
some of those, but yeah. Wife and kids got to go over to the Delta Center for Mark Hamill's panel.
Oh yeah, I saw that one it was at the Vivint.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you call it Vivint, I call it Delta Center. Sorry, it's showing my age.
He was awesome.
I have a question.
Okay.
When you save, does it always save to live editor? And in saving live editor, is it saving the same way as well?
If you're in the live editor and you hit the save button, it will save in that format. I haven't saved it yet, so now that I've saved it, it will save that every time. This here will save here, but if you right mouse click on this, you can open an M file as a live editor, and that's how I do the exams that students just, some students have a hard time with live editor, and if you have a hard time, just let me know and I'll let you do it in the M file, and then I'll convert it to a live editor when I grade it. You can also get a new M file that way too, just right mousing up here. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Next week we get to cover the fun information of how to find the time of the max and min. That's something that students struggle with quite a bit. Oh, okay, well, that's all I got. Y'all got any more questions? If not, like I say, I'm here. Use me, abuse me, throw me out with yesterday's trash. I'm good with it. I'm used to it. That's what they do at my office. Actually, I got to sit at my desk all day today. That was really nice. I've been out running a machine for the last 2 months. Oh, I wonder how the recording. Let's see here. Where's Am I still recording? Oh, it says so. Okay, I'm gonna stop.